It's an easy argument that Southern California is a key hub of the American motorcycle industry, so there's more pressure than ever on the stars of American flat track to perform here. The Vance & Hines SoCal Half Mile, presented by Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys.
Flat track motorcycle racing. Just to recall what it was like in the beginning, let us take a quick look back at the turn of the century. It takes stout lads like them to go for this kind of competition. It's trials like this that have made the two-wheel little giant the tough piece of mechanism it is today. Take a look at this motorcycle.
Each of today's races draws large crowds from all over the country.
It's a revolution.
Testing and bettering, testing and perfecting. Right on, cowboy.
The wave of the future.
You got a good start anyway.
Yeah, and we'll see how hot I was the whole time.
Every chance I get to race, I enjoy it.
What will you do? How hard are you willing to go? Will you let fear win? Or will you rise
Big one for Jared Mees.
and find victory?
Shayna Hexter takes the win.
It changes the way we look at racing.
Briar Bauman has become Mr. Consistency in the early returns of the American Flat Track Twins class, as brother Bronson has shown speed on the Factory Indian as well. But don't count out the Harley-Davidson factory squad. Sammie Halbert quietly rising into the top 10 and now a podium contender in the Twins division. Shayna Texter in the singles division won the last time we raced on an oval. Needs a bounce back here. Same for Ryan Wells. Finally got a podium at our last race in Arizona and is trying to dig his way out of a points hole on his Yamaha. Corey Texter won our production Twins class the last time we raced. He wants to make it 2 for 2 in that division. Jason Wygant joined by Mr. Everything behind a steering wheel, AJ Allmendinger, and Kristen Beat patrolling the racetrack. Hey, it's your home state here in California. But before we got here, we ran through Arizona and the Super TT, a very unique racetrack and a phenomenal battle for the win.
JD Beach, 4 seconds at one point behind Briar Bauman. Got to drive off of turn 1 here, down into turn 2, threw it in on the brakes, was able to get that Yamaha turn, get the drive off the corner, and go on to win his first career AFT Twins event.
And this is a rider who also races road racing. He didn't qualify for the first main event of the year, and it's a new effort with this Yamaha and Estenson Racing. So you roll all that up, and this is what you get, raw emotion.
Raw emotion. I remember my first career event win like that. So yeah, it was cool to see him and that whole team celebrate.
Okay, so a great bounce back. They are quickly climbing the charts, trying to get up into the top 10. Bauman, though, leads the points over Jared Mees, who has been effective but not his usual dominant self at the beginning of this 2019 season. All right, AJ, we're racing here in Southern California. What's it all about?
Half-mile racetrack, multiple groove, gets rutted up, but the bigger thing is long straightaways, tight corners, so you can carry a ton of speed in, but unfortunately at some point you got to get those bikes stopped.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see what lines develop and how the track changes throughout this event. 3 classes of racing. Let's get an update from Kristen Beat.
Thanks so much, Jason. The American Flat Track Series last visited Paris Speedway in 2017, but according to the paddock, the notebook, it's out the window. The guys can't reference any of their notes, even from when they tested here in November, like Jared Mees. The track and the conditions are completely different than they were when these riders have tested or even raced here. They told me that because of the recent rain in Southern California, it's provided so much moisture for this track that the tires are really kind of turning up that mud, and it's creating some ruts, it's creating some divots. According to Briar Bauman, the most dominant rider in the Twins class in 2019, the key word for tonight is survival. These riders are hoping to do just that.
Well, Briar certainly has. He's been on the podium at every race so far this year, and his younger brother Bronson has shown great speed in qualifying. It's a true family affair, really at many levels of American flat track, but especially when mom and dad and the 2 brothers go racing, the Bauman family. We're looking at our Bauman brothers 1-2 in their adopted home state. It's over, and the Bauman brothers do it. They sweep it here at Williams Grove.
Bronson rode for Indian last year, and he proved that he deserved a spot, and I kind of did the same. So, being brothers, we kind of share more information than other people I would in the pits.
Briar Bauman, fastest qualifier, been quick all night.
Briar getting notes and exchanging with his brother Bronson.
I kind of felt some things out on the track, and I actually had a pretty big moment that I didn't want anyone else to get into. I just only shared it with him. So yeah, I kind of gave him an idea of what the track was like and what to stay away from.
I think flat track as a whole is a huge family. So when you have your family there, it makes it even better. And our parents, they're the type of parents that will do anything for us. I mean, they'll give us a shirt off their backs anytime in need. And it's really an honor to have them here with us at the Factory Indian spot, just because it's not just a relief on us, it's a relief on them because we made it, really.
It's kind of funny because a lot of people used to say that to me. Your boys are gonna go, they're gonna make it, they're gonna make it. And I'd be like, oh, we'll see.
I'm gonna blame her right here, right now. It was all her idea. I actually did not want to. And she was pretty adamant about taking them racing. At their first race was the Ricky Graham Memorial, and that was the downfall. They loved it. They loved it. That was kind of our leverage point to raising good young men, because they knew they had to maintain a B average, get their schoolwork done, their chores, then they could go ride. And they rode every day, and they just kept getting better and better. I mean, starting out on mini bikes, and it's like, to be able to be on a factory ride and Indians at the pinnacle right now, yeah, I mean, what more do you say? It's phenomenal for both boys to be there.
When they were younger, I couldn't even watch. I couldn't. It would be like I had a small window, and if I saw them go by on both sides of the track, phew, that was good. It's intense. I do a lot of praying, that's for sure.
Just like most parents in the sport, they dedicate everything to our craft. It's always just, hey, my kids love to do this, and we're going to support that.
Being on the road, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so funny. Barry and I spent one of our anniversaries here in Paris, and so his joke was, I took my wife to Paris for our anniversary. So now I get to say I'm spending my Mother's Day in Paris. That's P-E-R-R-I-S.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have the lights on for the main event, so it'll be the City of Lights in a way. Here's your AFT Twins presented by Vance and Hines Storylines. Watch that 37. That's Bronson Bauman using the high line to great effectiveness.
Runs the top, gets a great drive off of turn 2, goes on to take the lead. Eventually, he would go on to lead every lap and win semi number 1.
Told you he's been fast in qualifying. Look at that factory Harley, though. Vanderkoy, they're getting quicker every week. Second ahead of Robinson and J.D. Beach, another good run. Beach was fastest in time qualifying this afternoon. So those are 4 genuine threats for the main event win a little bit later. But Jared Mees, only 8th in that. Your defending champ struggling. Semi number 2, Henry Wiles drifts high. Another Harley, Sammie Halbert going to the inside.
The old man, though, the worm, would go on to win semi number 2, and he was pumped going into the main event tonight.
Yeah, Larry said last time he won a heat race was 1994. He's going to be in a great position to maybe win the main. Good job by the worm. So intriguing and good racing so far. Bronson Bauman and Breyer, maybe they'll be battling in the main event. As far as our singles division goes, Shayna Texter looking for a bounce back, and her brother Corey will be battling for the win in the production twins class. So brother and sister could both come out on top. We'll talk to them in a bit and then get into singles action. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. If you go down, call Russ Brown. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. Roof Systems AFT Singles class standings. Dalton Gautier the story so far, but a long way to go.
Yeah, a lot of heavy hitters kind of hit the back here, but Ryan Wells, that 3rd place finish at the Arizona TT, got him inside the top 10. He's been quick all night.
Looking to build on that momentum. Shayna Texter has momentum not from our last race, but our last oval, which was in Texas. She won on the Red Bull KTM, and her brother Corey won in the production twins class at that event. 2 siblings, 2 wins. Absolute domination from Corey Texter, and yes, that was his sister Shayna that won our singles class. This is the first time ever siblings have won 2 different main events on the same night in American Flat Track.
Winning Texas was cool. At the end of my race, I immediately shifted my focus to Shayna and was rooting for her, and it didn't settle in until the ride home. I was like, man, we both won on the same day, so that was really cool.
For Corey to go out and win the race, you know, he's had a lot of struggles over the last couple years, so, you know, that was super cool, and then for me to back it up, you know, it was just, you know, a fairy tale ending for our family, and, you know, it's something that's going to go down in the record books for sure.
My all-time favorite racing memory isn't even of myself, it's of Shayna when she won Knoxville. She was the first female to win a race, and all the effort we put into it after my dad passed away. The emotion I had when she won Knoxville is unlike any other I've had for my own success, me winning races. For her to win Knoxville was, it's my favorite racing memory as a family.
Family for us is everything. You know, it's super helpful to have him in my corner growing up, and you know, my dad kind of learned how to build bikes. For him, that suited me then later in life, so.
It's nice having somebody to bounce information off of, somebody to test with, train with. We're not on the same team technically, but we're blood, so we're the same team, and it's nice to have that.
It's cool to be able to have our family be our biggest cheerleaders, but also our biggest critics, especially our mom. You know, she's gonna be the first one to tell us if we're out of line and, you know, keep us humble, keep us in line, and also give us a great role model to look up to.
Yeah, my mom keeps us level-headed. You know, she wants us to do well and succeed. Growing up, she taught us a lot, but she also let us learn and be dependent and learn things on our own so we could be our own individuals growing up. But she's our biggest supporter, and she doesn't know a lot about racing. She knows enough, but it's cool to talk about other things other than racing. Our mom brings a lot of that aspect to our lives, and you know, without her, I don't know where we'd be right now. She's done a lot for us over the years.
It's your Roof Systems AFT singles class. We'll show you some highlights from qualifying. This is a heat race. Watch the 49, Chad Coase cutting right in front of the 15, the Richie Morris Racing Honda of Mikey Rush. That's not so bad, but it's something.
It's not great. Chad Coase just makes a hard left off the line and says, I'm going to the bottom in turn 1 here.
Now in lap 2, this is definitely something. Watch Coase again.
Chad Coase from the top decides to go to the bottom. Unfortunately, Mikey Rush is still there.
Show this to you again. Too close for comfort if you're Rush. Just able to get that Honda stopped. So Rush is not happy at the end of the race. He shows Coase how unhappy he is. We caught up to both riders.
He kind of basically just shut the door on me off the starting line. He just cut over right in front of me. About took my front wheel out. And then about halfway through the race, he did it again while we were going full speed. So I think it's pretty unacceptable to ride like that on when we're going this fast. So, I mean, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna try to pass, just race clean. Basically, I'm a little disappointed in Chad because me and him been friends, growing up to riding together for years and years, and he never really rides me like that. But I'm pretty bummed out.
Mikey got a little heated. It's just the nature of racing. You know, he's one of my good buddies, so it's kind of unfortunate. I think he thought I cut down on him, but obviously I think everybody knows the type of rider I am. I wouldn't intentionally cut anybody off or anything like that, especially one of my good buddies. But things like that are going to happen, especially when you're competing at the front, and it's unfortunate, but you know, we're all out here to win, and whatever it takes to win. Obviously, I want to win fair and square. I want to be a clean rider. So, but no, that's racing, and I hope we can have a good battle for the main for the fans in the main.
And we'll move towards that main with battles in the semis. This is a good one. The 94 of Ryan Wells making that Estenson Yamaha look good. He makes the pass for the lead and pulls away from there.
Ryan Wells been strong all night, winning semi number 1. He's going to be a guy to contend with in the main event.
And Mikey Rush second in points. Rough night for him continues, only 7th in that one. This is hard contact, and Chad Coase again able to escape. Good battle up front. Ingerbritsen on the 54 takes the victory. Ingerbritsen out of Modesto, California. Chad Coase right behind him. We got a new contender here with Ingerbritsen going into the main with a good grid spot and obviously feeling good. You'd never really know who the favorite is in this singles division. It's generally wide open. Let's pick out some favorites with Kristen.
Dalton Gautier, the points leader in this class, also has the best average finish in this singles class. And when I spoke with him earlier in the day, he told me they're continuing to improve upon his bike. He told me that they were having trouble with the rear shock in Texas. They resolved that for this half mile. They've also found the horsepower that they were looking for in Arizona. Today, they made a gearing and suspension change. But the big question is, will Dalton Gautier be daring enough to start using and get comfortable on that high line, which has been developing as the fast line throughout the day and throughout the night. He just said a moment ago when I asked him, his plan is to start integrating it into his program to get up on the high line. But he said if you don't get a good start, it's nearly impossible to do so. A lot riding on the start here for Dalton Gautier.
There's Shayna Texter She's got one win this year, needs another because she struggled in the TT tracks and is down in points. Chad Coase has had a pretty wild night so far, but he has been very fast and will be 4th on the grid. And there's Ryan Wells kind of feeling the flow so far tonight and today.
Yeah, you get a little, you get that podium and all of a sudden that energy shows up. They show up tonight so far, starting on the front row, has a great chance.
Dan Bromley starting only 9th. He's going to have to come from behind. When you look at the Russ Brown starting grid here, same thing for Shayna, his teammate in the Red Bull. KTM only starting 11th, so they're going to have to make some passes. We have 15 laps in which to do it. 17 riders here in the half mile in Paris. We're focused in on Ryan Wells. Let's go racing. Good start by Janish down on the inside. He won the last race, but he drifts up high immediately, gives the lead up, and Morgan Mishler from 3rd to 1st. Ryan Wells, how did he do that? He went from 4th to 1st in one turn.
Ryan Wells gets in the corner, kind of slides up, does the diamond, gets the drive off the corner. To the lead he goes.
Woo, Shayna Texter all the way down to the bottom, taking huge chances to make up ground early. It didn't quite pay off. She's about 6th, I'd say, right now, with Wells in the lead and Ingerbritsen right behind him on the 54.
This Paris racetrack starting to slicken up a little bit. Riders having to find different lines, try everywhere they can to find that little bit of grip.
2 completely different grooves here, and Ingerbritsen, which one is he going to pick on the 54 to put the attack on Wells? Then Mishler on the 69. Gautier, your points leader, trying to work him on the 122 from 4th.
Jesse Janish right now in the top 5, but Ryan Wells leads it into turn 3. Michael Ingerbritsen running 2nd.
And Mishler, wow, I don't know if that was a move he wanted to make. He went way high. Either he missed the groove or he's trying to experiment with something, but somehow he was able to hold off Gautier. Now Chad Coase on the 49, getting in on it. So great racing, as we expect, from AFT Singles on a tight half mile here in California. Janish getting aggressive here, trying to make moves on the 132.
We've seen it all night. Different riders at different times have a lot of speed. Who can find it this last 11 laps?
How about the pressure that Wells is dealing with? Don't even take a glance behind you, because what have we got, 12 riders stacked up behind our leader?
It's all about trying to not make a mistake right now. Being smooth. Chad Coase in 6th, stalling 7th. Dan Bromley right now, he's been quick, but hasn't shown that pace to go win a race. He needs to drive up through the field here, running 8.
Yeah, he's running the number 1 because he is your defending champ. But this is the guy to beat this year, Dalton Gautier, and he's doing it by being strong on every type of racetrack. We visited, he just made the move on Mishler for 3rd. Meanwhile, up front, let's get an update on your leader.
Ryan Wells said, "This is my wheelhouse. With the changes that we've made to the bikes, I think we have got it. These paper clips are more racy. You can make passes on entrance in the corners. You can use the outside. This fits Ryan Wells' style, and you can see it in his racing tonight, guys."
Well, you've raced on tracks like this. What's the challenge to make it work?
With tight corners, as a rider, if you feel good about it, you can do different things. The way you use the brake, the way you use the throttle, it allows a rider to really show their strengths.
Well, right now Wells is doing it, but it is still tight. He has Ingerbritsen and Gautier right there, and Ingerbritsen is looking for running room. We're on board with Shayna Texter. Didn't get the start, but look at the focus as she moves into the top 10.
Shayna Texter trying to do everything she can, riding aggressive, running 9th. She's got 6 laps to go to try to find her way to the lead.
Only good news for her is this pack is so tight. If anyone, including her, could find a line, you can pass a bunch of riders in a hurry, but the laps are starting to click off. See Morgan Mishler on that 69. He's under pressure from Jesse Janish as the top 3 try to break away here. Wells in the lead, Ingerbritsen 2nd, and your points leader, Gautier, 122, closing in.
Looking at Morgan Mishler, he's trying to alternate lines, trying to get in, diamond the corner, find anything he can, losing a little bit of distance to that top 3.
Chad Coase now showing a wheel on the number 49 as he tries to break into the top 5. Just enough laps left here and just enough competition. We have no idea what's going to happen down the stretch. Ryan Wells trying to bring it home here in the AFT singles class on the number 94 Estenson Yamaha, but Michael Ingerbritsen with 4 laps to go and Dalton Gautier continuing to apply pressure. Big battle back here. Dan Bromley on the number 1 has moved from just inside the top 10, now trying to get into the top 5, trying to make the move on Jesse Janish.
Bromley looking around the outside of Janish for 5th, can't get it done. Coase under Bromley for 6th.
Now Bromley's going to go from outside to inside, and Morgan Mishler's going to get pushed all the way out. Bromley passes 2 riders in one spot, trying to salvage some points. And look at this battle. Janish, Bromley, Coase, Mishler short end of that stick. Mishler was second at our Atlanta short track earlier in the year, keeps experimenting with these high lines. Love the way this racetrack has formed.
Fantastic racing all the way through the pack here. Bromley still trying to work away around Janish. Coase still working on Bromley.
Yeah, everywhere Bromley goes to try to make a pass, Coase says, cool, I'm going to take a different line and try to get you back. Meanwhile, finally, a little bit of breathing room for your leader, Wells, who has been under fire from Innerbitsen the entire way. 1 lap to go. This would be huge for Wells if he can hold on. Didn't even grab a top 10 finish until our last race when he was 3rd. He has a huge hole to dig out of in the championship standings. But this would be a major boost of momentum for your 2016 singles champ, and he knows he has it. Look at the emotion. Ryan Wells and Estenson Yamaha take the SoCal half mile. Innerbitsen, a first career podium. Look at the team. That's his mechanic, Nick Daniels, and Nick's son, Dallas, will be racing with us as a pro in the future. They're just as pumped to see their man take the victory as well. Bromley managed to get up to 4th, just ahead of Janish. And Texter 9th. Good run there. Wow, this was a very competitive main event position, swapping all the way around, except one of them. This guy holds on for the win.
Ryan Wells, the embraces by your team and friends. A big win for you tonight. What was it that you guys have figured out with these Estenson Racing Yamahas?
Holy smokes, man. I've won a couple pro singles races now, and this one by far is the most emotional one. You go through these periods of racing and it feels like people lose faith in you, so to be able to give the gift of a race win to the Estenson Racing crew after they stuck behind me, they believed in me, and they gave me an opportunity. It's phenomenal. Me and Nick Daniels and his son Dallas, man, those guys, they've been busting their butt. Dallas trains with me every day, and this is huge. I can't thank everybody. Estenson Racing, Monster Energy, Yamaha. We went back to the drawing board. We know we got a good motorcycle, and we stopped just trying to reinvent the wheel, and we went back to what we all believed in. We started believing in that, and things have gone a lot smoother.
Second time in a row we've seen a race where you see how much this means, and he's moving up in points, 5th.
Yeah, Ryan Wells, 2 weeks ago, wasn't even inside the top 10. Now up to 5th. Dalton Gautier, another strong run.
Dalton, a better half-mile performance than that which we saw in Texas. You've improved incrementally. You told me the bike is getting better. What are the positives that you can draw from this night?
We got a new pipe, so that definitely helped with power and stuff. I got to thank Vance and Hines for that. And we just got it this morning, and I could definitely tell with the horsepower-wise with it. And I think I could have changed a little bit, a couple things for the main, but oh well, we got 3rd, and we finished ahead of the guys that are right on my tail in the points. So I'm happy with that. Wish I could have won, but you can't win them all. So this season's been going really well, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to take me.
And shout out to our runner-up, first time ever on the podium for Michael Innerbitsen, backed by Pacific Tub and Tile out of Modesto, California. That's a wrap on our singles division. Estenson Yamaha will celebrate this one as Ryan Wells is back in title contention. Now we move on to the production twins class. Corey Texter looking to make it 2 in a row to start the 2019 season. Stay with us. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle. Be legendary. By Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. We're back at the Vance & Hines Southern California half mile in Paris, California. We've wrapped up our singles class, another event just about to get underway. That will be our production twins division. What's this class all about, AJ?
It really levels the playing field for the riders. You don't have to race against the factory teams. We saw in round 1, Corey Texter go out there and show his true talent, winning his first career AFT event.
But you never know who could be a contender for the win tonight. Let's check in with the Black Hills Harley-Davidson team with Kristen.
James Rispoli is working overtime this weekend, not only slated to race in the singles class, but also the production twins. James, a big weekend for you, pretty ambitious.
definitely. It's ambitious, but, you know, when I got the call from Terry Reimer to ride the Black Hills Harley-Davidson XG 750, I was like, it's an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So for me, it's worth it to have a team like Vance and Hines and Harley-Davidson behind the program. It's something that, you know, I really am looking forward to, and, you know, we're putting a lot of focus into it.
Something that I've noticed in practice and the heats and qualifying even, you've looked better than what we've seen so far this season. Do you attribute that to more track time maybe?
Of course, track time is always good. It's obviously a different beast. You know, it's something I've haven't had a lot of experience on, but yeah, things are definitely going the right way. And I would say that, yeah, I think our package is getting better overall. And I think, yeah, the more track time I get on the bike, period, is the better.
Well, let's show you what the main event looked like here in the production twins division. Good start by Texter, but he goes wide, and that's going to allow the 68 of Ryan Barnes on a Kawasaki to get the lead. Texter comes right back at him.
We've seen it all night. That high line off of turn 2 really getting that drive for those riders. We see Ryan Barnes here trying to work the outside of Corey Texter. It was a great battle early in the race for the lead.
And Kel Kochman also on a Yamaha along with Texter in third, kept it close. Good battle down to the end, but then Texter would begin to draw away from Barnes. He is indeed 2 for 2 in 2019 by taking the win. Nice charge down the end by Ingerbritsen. It's another one pulling double duty. You just saw him on the podium in the singles class. Look at the results. Dalton Gautier, your singles points leader, in 5th. So a lot of riders like this class, they're willing to put in the extra work to compete in 2 of them on one night. But it's Texter, a career rejuvenation with these 2 wins this year. Let's talk to him.
I'm not typically fast on these slick racetracks, so plan was to get out and run away scared. You know, it was one of those tracks you had to be really smooth, and this bike's so awesome, this Yamaha MT-07 backed by Fredericktown Yamaha. My program's awesome right now, and I'm having a great time riding the bike. You know, I'm just enjoying myself, and it pays off. You have fun, you do well, so.
We're going to see who's having fun at the end of the night in the AFT Twins class, because their main event is about to start. But first, our Dunlop Tire Talk. 2 different compounds to pick from. How's it going to go tonight, AJ?
Yeah, the R5, the softer compound, and the R8, the harder tire. So far this season, we've seen all the riders kind of choose one tire and go with it. For the first time this year, we have a mixed bag of choosing. We see here Jared Mees on the factory Indian and Sammie Halbert and Jared Vanderkoy on the factory Harley-Davidson. They've went with the R8, meaning later in the race, is this harder tire going to play out? Maybe the R5 gets used up too early, and they can kind of come on the last 12 or 13 laps of this race. So it's going to be really interesting and really based on the riders on how they use this tire through 25 laps.
So we have a multiple groove racetrack and multiple tire choices. Probably going to have multiple contenders for the win. Stay with us. It's time for the AFT Twins class presented by Vance and Hines. Their main event is about to go, but first, Kristen Beat checks in with last weekend's winner.
After winning in Arizona at the Super TT, JD Beach raced the next weekend in the Moto America Series, scoring his 2nd win in 2 starts. Today, he told me it was good to remind myself that I can still do it, that I've still got it. When we spoke earlier today, he said it was more of a confidence booster. He needed it. Tonight, though, a little guess and check that's been paying off. JD said they're running some untested parts on the bike. It could make the bike better. It could go the opposite direction. However, the direction JD Beach's performance seems to be trending is straight up. He said, we are throwing everything at this bike. He set fastest time after the heats. He is here to make a statement tonight. And also something to note, his teammate Ryan Wells scored a win in the singles class. The Estenson Racing Yamaha team has it figured out tonight.
And there's Briar Bauman, your points leader, but starting only 9th on the grid. This could be his stiffest challenge so far this year. Sammie Halbert, the factory Harley, has been very quick throughout qualifying. And don't count out Brandon Robinson, who's right in contention for this title and won our race earlier in the year in Atlanta. So we're ready to go. Here's your grid. One rider we haven't talked about much is Jared Mees.
Yeah, Jared Mees just been struggling all day. Hasn't been able to find the pace. Starting 15th. We're going to find out what his championship is right now. Having to start 15th, see if he can ride up through the field, get on the podium.
He got the win in Texas 2 weeks ago, and we thought, here comes a Jared Mees win streak, but it has not broken that way. Bauman is still the man to beat on the 14. Whoa, what happened there? I think we got a jump on the start. And it's JD Beach who jumped the start, last week's winner. And he has to go to the back of the grid, so even more adversity for him. Wow, that's a heartbreaker. So back to the start we go. You see that 69 on the inside. That is Halbert on the Harley. Can he use that? A couple riders have used the outside high line. So you want to watch for that 44 of Robinson. We're underway here in California. Great start for the 72. The 45-year-old Larry Pegram has it. No, wait, the outside line is going to work, and it's Bronson Bauman on the 37. Halbert and Vanderkoy, the factory Harleys are there. And Robinson from fourth, possibly to first. He's elbow to elbow with Bronson Bauman, and he has it.
Robinson leans on Bronson into turn 3, goes from fourth to the lead. Takes the lead. Sammie Halbert slides into second here off of turn 2, but Bronson, great drive off the top. Back to second. We're side by side down turn 3.
Yeah, Bronson trying to come back, so it's Indian versus Harley-Davidson. Bronson on the outside. I think he might be able to hold Halbert off. Unbelievable action early. What, we had 4 leaders in turns 1 and 2 to start it. I think Halbert has finally made it stick. Yes, and Bronson almost threw it away, so that's going to help Sammie lock it down, and then throws in a wheelie for good measure. He is definitely hooked up.
Sammie Halbert, quick to second, all over Brandon Robinson for the lead, trying to get that factory Harley into turn 1, trying to take the lead.
Incredible action early in this one. Halbert had the lead just for maybe 6 feet of racetrack off the start. Then Robinson came from first to fourth. Here comes Halbert back. Bronson is right there. Jared Vanderkoy, another Harley as well. Oh, Sammie Halbert with the line. This could be the pass.
Can he outdrive him into turn 1? Late on the brakes, Brandon Robinson gets that bike turn, gets the drive off turn 2. Sammie Halbert, after a beginning of the year that hasn't been to his liking, trying to go up there and make up for it and take the lead.
Been a long time since Halbert has won one of these. He was second in the points 2 years ago, but did not have a race win. It is a big opportunity for him right now. He looks quicker than Robinson, but where can he make the pass? Robinson doing a phenomenal job just staying in the middle of the racetrack and making Halbert work for it. But they call him Slammin' Sammie for a reason. If he's got to get aggressive, he'll do it.
What I like about Sammie's riding style right now, riding the bike very straight. You can see Brandon Robinson. He's sliding that bike all over the place. Sammie Halbert, very cool, riding in easy, not using that rear tire up.
And remember the Harley riders, they both picked the harder tire compound, AJ, and he's pretty strong even early in the main. Oh, till that one.
Hits a big rut into turn 3, but you know what? Look at the drive he gets off the corner. He still has a chance to take the lead. Can he look into turn 1? No.
Incredible pace by Halbert, but also incredible job by Robinson to just ignore all this pressure and maintain his line. There's Vanderkoy on the 20 in fourth. Hits that hole again, Halbert, and we have a crash now. Let's see if the Whelen caution lights come on. They're still racing it out. I think it's Henry Wiles who is down, hopefully okay. Well, they're still racing. Halbert is still applying pressure on the 44 of Robinson. And now we see it. The red flag is out. There is Wiles, so the veteran is okay on the 17. But not the result he's going to want tonight. Let's see if we got some footage of what happened to Wiles here. And we have it actually from the onboard with Briar Bauman. There is a 17 of Wiles.
Yeah, we see here as he goes in the corner into turn 3, seems okay, starting to slide, hits a bump in the racetrack, loses the front tire, goes down, but fortunately enough, he's okay.
Yeah, and he will be able to go back to the grid, but on the back for the restart. Meanwhile, Kristen has caught up to Sammie Halbert.
Sammie, taking a quick breather real quick under the red flag. What do you make of this track, and how is it changing since the track that you qualified on?
Yeah, no, it's nice that we're able to run the top groove. It definitely plays into like my bike's favor, being able to keep that momentum rolling and stuff like that. And yeah, it was feeling good. It was nice to be up in the mix fighting for the lead. So just trying to remain calm and you know, bummed to see the red come out, but glad everyone's all right. And just gonna go try and get this done.
What he's been trying to get done is a pass for the lead. He's been close.
Yeah, Brandon's been very smooth. So Sammie Halbert, I think this last 15 laps is really gonna have to get aggressive and make a move.
Be the first win for this new generation Harley XG if he can get it done. He definitely has the pace. It's a staggered restart based on the results that we had before the Whelen caution light came out. So you got Bauman on the 37 third, Vanderkoy fourth, Robinson on the 44 in the lead, and a bad jump for the 69 of Halbert. And look, both Vanderkoy and Bauman are going to sweep to the inside.
Sammie Wide off of turn 2, gonna lose even more spots. Back to 7th place he goes.
And look who has emerged from nowhere. Your defending champion, Jared Mees. This is what he does. A terrible night for his standards so far, starting in the back row. Suddenly the number 1 is in 4th. And your series points leader, Briar Bauman, didn't see much of him earlier. He's suddenly in 2nd. Taking advantage of the restart. Halbert, though, is not done. He's trying to battle back on that 69.
Sammie Halbert trying to get around Brandon Price for 5th. We're riding on the S&S onboard. Jared Mees, Sammie Halbert back to 5th, chasing Jared Mees for 4th.
Price is a rookie in the Twins class this year. A good run for him, but Halbert has a date at the front. He's got to get up there, but he does have to pass your defending champion Mees to do it. This should be a really interesting tussle for 4th and 5th, and Sammie is closing the gap. Meanwhile, Robinson trying to get away, but he has a new contender behind him with the 14 of Bauman in 2nd. Then it's Vanderkoy, and a quick look at J.D. Beach, who, remember, had a false start and also started in the back. And he's got the number 95 Estenson Yamaha toward the front, so definitely some passing out here tonight.
Sammie Halbert trying to be aggressive. Turns under Jared Mees. Off of turn 4, he's going to have to get deep into turn 1.
And he makes it happen.
Great pass by Sammie Halbert. Probably frustrated knowing he had a bad restart, seeing Brandon Robinson start to ride away for the lead, doing everything he can to get back up front.
Can he close the gap on that lead trio? Because it is still fairly close there. Robinson, Bauman, Vanderkoy, the other Bauman, Bronson. He's in a battle as well. Plenty of room to maneuver on this racetrack, so it's not over yet. Incredible racing here, this Vance and Hines Southern Cal half mile in Perris, California. The one position that has not changed much, the 44 Brandon Robinson, but it has been a tussle behind him. Briar Bauman is 2nd, and the Harley-Davidsons, Vanderkoy and Halbert here in a huge battle for 3rd.
Teammate battle. Got to play a little nice with each other, but this is for the podium. Sammie Halbert been fast all night, trying to get, this has been a strong point off of turn 4 here. Makes the move on Jared Vanderkoy up to 3rd. Does he have anything left to go chase down Briar Bauman?
There is time, but quite a bit of gap to make up. But Halbert has been very quick, both in qualifying, our semis, our heat races, and here in the main. So he might be able to get this done. There's Briar Bauman just doing what he needs to do. He's your points leader, and no matter what has been thrown at him this year, he has been solid. He's doing it again in 2nd. Then it's Mees, your champ, on the number 1. Bronson Bauman on another factory Indian coming through next. We're on board the Indian motorcycle of Briar Bauman. Not flashy tonight, didn't show anything spectacular, but effective, and that's what builds points leads.
This is what championships are made of. Hasn't been strong, started 9th, quietly up to 2nd.
Oh, but he's going to have to deal with Halbert before it's over because the 69 is closing the gap, and he's pulling away also from his teammate Vanderkoy, so he doesn't have to worry about anyone sticking the wheels in on him, although Vanderkoy might have to worry about Mees here in a second. Speaking of Mees, let's send it to Kristen.
Jared Mees, of course, starting from the back row. He's a rider who earlier in the day seemed very focused, very intent. When I spoke with him, he told me that he felt confident here because he tested here in November, but definitely struggling a little bit tonight, guys.
Well, remember what Kristen said at the top of the show, the weather has kind of changed a lot of the notes the riders had from those testing sessions during the off season. So they're all learning on the fly. Let's see what Mees can do, perhaps with the 20 of Vanderkoy down the stretch, and Bronson Bauman putting in a good run. He's got Mees in his sights on that 37.
Yeah, when you go testing, it's nice. You're out there riding. There's not a lot of bikes out there. You do a whole night of different types of bikes out there. It really changes the racetrack. Jared Mees struggling a little bit, but that's what Jared Mees is about. His struggling, still inside the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering he started 15th on the grid, that's pretty good. Bronson keeping some heat on, one of his best runs of the year. So despite all the varied competition and the upswing lately from the factory Harley team, you still have the 3 factory Indians battling for top 5s. And remember the tire selection, AJ.
Yeah, the top 2 right now on the R5 Dunlop. It really seems like Brandon Robinson, after that restart, probably helped by Sammie Halbert making the mistake into turn 1, has really found his rhythm, pulling away. Briar Bauman settling in, Sammie Halbert running 3rd.
And there it is. This crew, Kennedy Racing and Armbruster Racing, have to be pumped because it appears Brandon Robinson, their man, is going to become the first two-time winner of the 2019 season. A couple of off years for him. He has absolutely rejuvenated himself in 2019. He's winning races, he's in title contention, and he takes the Southern California half mile. Halbert gonna put the Harley XG 750 on the podium in third. Robinson, though, celebrating. It looks like he's about as happy about win number 2 as he was with his win in Atlanta earlier in the year, proving that was no fluke. Mees 5th, as you say, AJ, not a great run, but if 5th is your worst day, that's still pretty darn solid. Lyles, remember, had the crash. It's good to see him get back up. He does end up 17th, and Beach's charge stalls. He ends up 11th. Here's the Motul move of the race. It's the restart.
We see here Brandon Robinson gets a great restart, but bigger note, we see Sammie Halbert back to 4th, gets in the corner, gets wide, falls back to 7th. Right there, it leaves Brandon Robinson with nobody really chase him down. He goes on to dominate this race.
Yeah, he might have been the one rider with the pace to battle it out, but the restart cost him the win for Robinson.
Brandon Robinson with his second win of the 2019 season in the Twins class. Podium finish at every car track this season. Brandon, we spoke earlier in the day and you were telling me that before coming into this race, you raced a fairgrounds race last night. For you, it's about what you love doing, and it's racing. How great is it for you to now take your second win of the season, and especially after a marathon weekend like this?
Man, it's unreal. I can't believe it. You know, the struggles I had the last couple of years, and to come out this strong this early in the season is amazing. And a big part was getting that start, getting out front early, and red flag. I was able to regroup. I was riding really tense in the beginning, and you know, I just told myself to ride smoother, put it into perspective, just breathe, and everything just came together. I can't believe it, you know, it's awesome, it's amazing.
This decision to move from the Harley-Davidson to the Indian team was risky for you. You invested a lot of yourself and a lot of your time and your assets into this team. How rewarding is it for you to now be on the route that you're on?
It's amazing, you know, my decision was solely on the decision of I wanted to win, and that was it, and man, it's paying off. It's crazy, you know, I wasn't sure, it was a big gamble, like I said, and you know, to have the results we're having so far this season is unbelievable. You know, so it's just true testament to my team, Jerry Kennedy, my team owner of Kennedy Racing. Man, the guy put heart and soul behind me. He believes in me 100%. And my crew chief, Brent Armbruster, without them two guys, this wouldn't be possible. So it's just a huge hats off to them. This is a team effort for sure. So I'm just stoked.
Well, after a few tough seasons, got the old band back together. Some of the crew members that have won races with him before, and they've got it back together and back on top. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. Sunoco Go the Distance Awards standings. We total up all the miles, and from qualifying and racing, Briar Bauman has logged the most this year. He's also logged the most points because he's been consistent on the podium in every race. And he's actually outscored Jared Mees at the last two events. We thought after the win at round 3, Mees was about to go on a run. Not quite yet. And Robinson's certainly in contention with the win tonight as well. Let's talk to our points leader. He's on the podium with Kristen.
Briar, a broken shifter and quite a story following that main event.
Yeah, I got a great restart. Got up to second. I actually thought about going for the lead and decided to kind of settle in. Went into turn 3, and I guess I hit a hole or a rock or something and ripped my shifter off. And when it did that, it shifted me into 4th gear, and we were geared for 3rd. So it was really difficult the rest of the main event, but it was actually pretty good. Yeah, to come out second after where we started the day, it means a lot. Big congratulations to my brother. He rode really well today, and he sat on pole, but he's just learning. It means a lot to me to see him progress, and we both did it the day before Mother's Day and the day after his birthday. So overall, huge thanks to the team, Indian Motorcycle, powered by Progressive.
Well, this might be the one that got away for the man on your right, Sammie Halbert. He was fast enough, but didn't get the win tonight.
Sammie, off that red flag restart, you lost position. How hard did you have to work to get yourself back into position and maintain that spot?
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. Like, I just lit it up on the start and then went wide in turn 1 and 2 and almost crashed, but was back there a ways, it felt like. But I had a good line that was working for me, kind of coming in wide into 3 and squaring off 4. But yeah, definitely had to put my head down and focus, and yeah, was able to squeak my way up in there and battle my teammate for 3rd. So yeah, Harley-Davidson's running strong. The old Vance and Hines team putting their heads down and getting this done. It's good to see the progress, and we're looking forward to these next few races.
Well, we thought the next race would be the Sacramento Mile. Due to weather, that's been postponed. So that'll be back on the schedule. Springfield is going to be the next race. That's maybe the biggest of all.
This is what I grew up watching. Riders tuck, over 130 miles per hour, mile racetrack, hands off the handlebars. I love it.
Going to be incredible, so don't miss that one here on NBCSN June 1st. Congrats to Ryan Wells taking the win in the singles division, Corey Texter in the production twins class, and for the 2nd time this year, Brandon Robinson's on top in twins. For AJ Allmendinger and Kristen Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.